All right, good evening. Our guest is here already, and she's looking fabulous already. We're going to start in a few minutes, and we're waiting for others to join, both on YouTube good evening, and here. Okay, where Priska, if you're ready to roll, I am ready. Let's go.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Priska Dewa. I would like to confirm if you can hear me. Kindly confirm if you can hear me, please. Hello? Oh, great. Thank you very much for the feedback. We really appreciate. So welcome everyone to the August webinar. So if you're excited, I'd like you to please in the chat room, just let me see your post in the chat room if you are ready for today's webinar. So I'd like to see your feel your pause. We are happy to have our guest today, and I'm sure that every one of us we are excited to be able to learn today. So we'll give few minutes for people to join so that we can be able to learn as much from our guests today. So kindly hold on for like a minute or two as we kickstart today's webinar. All right. So I think it's better we start so we can be able to get enough from our guest from today. So please, if you cannot hear me or if there are any issues, kindly put it in the chat room so that we can be able to sort it out as soon as possible. My name is Priska Ademo, and I welcome everyone to today's webinar. And most especially, would like to welcome our wonderful, our uniquely special guest to today's webinar. Thank you so much, Ma, for taking the time to be able to impact and for us to be able to tap some knowledge from you today. So I'd like to read our guest bio so that we can know more about our guest today. So our guest is Onyechi Obaro. I'm apologies if I mispronounce the name. You can also please correct me. She's an experienced sports anchor and journalist with over 8 years in broadcasting. She has worked with leading platforms such as NTA, Galaxy Television, and currently with News Central Television, where she delivers impactful sports storytelling across Africa and beyond. Passionate about giving visibility to African sports, Onyinyechi has engaged athletes, administrators, and thought leaders through compelling interviews and reportage. She is also a Balher mentee and a participant in other international mentorship programs, reflecting a commitment to professional growth, leadership, and amplifying African voices in global sports media. So, welcome again, our guest, the one and only Oyechi. Please, in the comments room, you can also send your applause emoji, love emoji to celebrate our guest. So, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening, Priska.
Yes, ma'am. It's
How-
good to have you here, ma'am. I want to be sure if I'm the only one not seeing your beautiful face.
Okay, I have my video on and now I'm on mute. So can you see me?
May I confirm you can hear me, ma'am? Oh, okay. I can't. So I'd like to confirm, am I the only one? Okay, not seeing.
Okay.
Kindly hold on. Okay, I think it's my network, but let's start. Let's go on. So I would like you to please walk us through on your journey so far. Okay, I can see too. Okay, so we have confirmation that people can see it. So let's go on then. So I'd like you to please share with us, how did you start? Tell us about your journey from how did you enter into broadcasting, and also how did you decide that, okay, I want to do sports bits. Can you please share with us, ma'am?
All right, thank you so much, Priska. I'm also privileged to be here.
Hello?
I'm honored at this invitation, especially getting it from another sportcaster herself who has decided to just take a break, but we need her back. Talking about Oludolapo Olawale. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I really appreciate this invite. All right, sport for me was not a choice that I made. I think it was a responsibility that was put upon me. It came certainly, and I had no choice but to take the bull by the horn and then run with it. I'll go by the word that in the Bible, Habakkuk, that says you write the vision, you lay it on tables, then you run with it. That was what I did when sport, came to me. So I was chosen by sport. I did not choose sport. It happened, I started my broadcasting career in NTA, the Nigerian Television Authority. So I started there, internship. I was there from 2014. At the time, we started on the, to shadow most of the reporters, the presenters. We're doing more of the scripting. We're doing more of the watching them, voice and everything. And at the time, the director of news says, okay, it's time for you all to go out and then try something on your own. So your internship will be worth it. So I was told to go out and then follow up with a story. So I did, and came back, wrote my story. I wrote my story, I submitted it, but it came off like I did not write anything. So I felt, oh, but I was the one at the event. Director of news had to scribble something from the top again and told me, this is better, much better now, go and voice. Voicing was another problem. So when I went there, I did not get the confidence immediately to voice. I've never spoken to a mic before and then get to listen to myself again. That was the first time, but I had to do it. So I sought advice, I sought guidance, and I did it. as at the time when the report was played, I did not get that. I was like, no, not me. This can't be me speaking on TV. This can't be my voice. I think something happened to the voice. But it was just the first time of hearing myself, hearing my voice, me narrate a particular story or report on television. So that was my first reportage. And that was great because I marked that particular date in 2015. It was great for me. And that's how I was able to surmount fear, and I started voicing more of the stories. Reporting for me, journalism for me started at that time in NTA. From NTA, I moved 2017 to Galaxy TV. Now in Galaxy TV was a different ballgame because at this time I was employed as a presenter. Now a presenter and a news anchor. So it was different for me. I understood the rudiments of journalism. I knew what a story is, what news is. I knew how to write a story, the structure at which a story should take. But sitting in front of a camera was not something that I was used to. It was going to be my first time having to sit in front of camera to announce the news. But I had to say, no, if I could do it behind camera, if I could do it, then I should be able to do it in front of camera. It took a lot of courage. You know, this thing about this stereotypical idea people have, especially the ones who have been there, done that, they just want you to go through the same pain they went through while starting their career. But people do not know that they have to move on. And a lot of people have moved on from something that you went through a lot while having to go to the top. Doesn't mean that the next person coming should have to go through that same hurdle. If you have been, what makes you wise, that you have gone through that hurdle and you've been able to surmount it, then if there is a stone in front that you had to hit your leg, you know, on the stone before you surmount the hurdle, you should take it off for the next person coming. So the next person coming should not see the same stone or should not be hit by the same stone. But at that time, we had this stereotypical mentality from those who have done that before us. They just felt we should also go through that hurdle. We should also go through that pain and that suffering. We should give them that respect. So it was not an easy one for us. And especially women who were at the office at that time, where they were the most brutal from the whole thing, the whole hostility we got. Because we were young girls, they felt, oh, it's in you. You still have the blood, you have that ginger, you know, to do one or twos in the media space. You still have years ahead of you, so you should learn the hard way. Shouldn't be the hard way. It doesn't have to be the hard way, because that's what I keep telling myself at this time. And I keep thinking that if I have someone who has to come after me, the person shouldn't have to go through all that. So I'm ready to speak my mind, share it, make the whole road easy for you to walk through. So at that time, it was really hard, because there are days where we had to go encourage ourselves, especially the sets that got employed. You know, there's this bond with the sets that got employed at the same time you did. So we had to encourage ourselves. We had to tell ourselves, come on, you can do this. Nobody should, you know, dampen your emotions or make you feel bad about yourself. If you had made a mistake, you should be able to move ahead with that mistake. So I was at Galaxy with me being my number one fan. So sometime I joined Galaxy 2016. Sometime in 2017, I just did 1 year, read the news for the whole of the year. But 2017 was when the big break came. At that time, it was not a big break for me. It was, to me, it was like a big burden on my shoulder. But it was a big break. I can start today and say it was a big break for me. The sports anchor had gone for a field event. He had to travel for a field event, and nobody was available to present the sport show at that time. So the sports show was supposed to be at 12 p.m. and nobody was available to present the show. And the next thing, the directive came in that, where's that girl? The girl with the gap in her tooth. And that's me. Let her go take the sports show. Let her go do the sports show. And I was told that around 10 a.m. for a show that's going to be 12 p.m. I was coming to the newsroom and I heard, Oga wants you to do the sports show. Inside of my head was, I don't even know sport. What do I know about sport? And for someone who doesn't know anything about sport, what can I do in the space of an hour, 30 minutes? Because you have to be prepared 30 minutes before the show. You should have had what you want to, present and all that. And I told myself an hour, 30 minutes. In fact, it's no more an hour, 30 minutes, because at the time when they told me, it was already 10 o'clock. So I'm like, thinking alone, or even the shock alone, was going to take me like 30 minutes to get myself back and then say, okay, what do I do? How do I go about it? But the good thing I did, number one, I had to pray and say, God, I went into the toilet and say, God, I do not want to disgrace myself on TV. I need your help at this time. I do not know what I'm doing. I do not know what I'm about to do, but I need your help at this time. And I put a call through to my colleague who was the presenter of the show. So he was in Uyo. I put a call through to him and I said, hello, the boss wants me to do the sports show. What do you think? What do you advise that I do? How can you guide me through this? What he says was, he wants you to do the sports show. Fine. All right. You know what? Go to the editor downstairs, tell him to do this, tell him to do this, tell him to do this. Then put a call through to me. I'll join you on the show. I said, fine, okay. I went ahead doing all the things he said. And it was already 11:30. I was jittery. I was really scared. But I told myself nothing dies in my hands. And according to what we're being told in church, nothing dies in my hands. If I have to do this, let me do this. Let the 30 minutes of this show be the best 30 minutes ever on this station. And I went ahead, it was time, the montage played, and immediately, I would say today that I kept talking. I cannot remember all I said, but I kept talking. I connected with my colleague who was in Uyo covering a field event, and we had the show. And at the end of the day, I was told, you have 5 minutes to wrap, and I wrapped the show. I wrapped up the show. The next thing, I stood there for 10 minutes, still at the studio. I stood there and I'm like, taking a deep breath. Inside of me, I told myself, I just presented a sports show. I do not know what I said. I don't even know the stories I read because I don't follow up with those kind of stories. I just told myself, I just presented a sports show. At that time, I was in the studio and I don't know what reaction I'm going to get outside of the studio door. I don't know. I was preparing my mind for whatever reaction that I will get outside the studio door. Bad or good, I'll take it. I'll take it, swallow it, and we move on. I opened the studio door, and the next thing, it was my friends. Those were employed, my colleagues were employed at the same time with me. And they said, Onyinyechi, you just finished. Wow, that was a good one. Oh, the boss is calling you upstairs. The boss is calling you upstairs. And inside of me, I was still in shock. And I went upstairs and he said, what is this thing that you cannot do? I told you can do it. Come here and take money. And the next thing, he counted cash and then handed the cash over to me. That was big motivation. You know what money can do? Instead of me, I told myself, maybe I've done the best show ever. All right, this money, that's for my struggle. That's for the whole, shock and the whole fear I had inside of me before I took the bull by the horn. So that was how it started for me for sport. I told myself that, oh, wow, I think I've done this. So let's move. It was a Friday I did that. So I had Saturday and Sunday to let the steam off. I'm like, okay, Monday, he's going to take over his show and we move. What? Monday? You know that thing they say about, please help me hold this thing and later it becomes your property. It becomes your responsibility. It happened to me. So Monday, I'm getting a call from my boss that I would like to see you with my colleague who's the original presenter of the show. And went up to the boss and he says, Onyinyechi, I want you to start presenting the sports show with him. You guys can do things together, try and do the sports show together. Instead of me, that was not a promotion. That was not a good news to hear on a Monday. It's, I just, no, that was what was on my mind. No, 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 no. And I said, sir, please, I just did this for that day, not because it's something I do on a regular or something I know about before now. He says, no, what you did out there was not like someone who is a novice in sport. And I told myself, no, sir, I'm a novice, so I don't know jack about sport. I don't know anything about sport. The persuasion did not go down well. And he says, no, unless you go look for a job out there, you start joining him for the sports show. That was not the kind of news I wanted to hear. I was down. It didn't go down so well with me. For the whole week, it was like stress coming to work. It was pain coming to work because I was coming to work to join a colleague that I don't even know where to start. It seems everyone has gone ahead in sport ahead of me. Where do I catch up? How do I catch up? And I'm like, because sport stories you have to go through. I'm like, no, this is too far for me to catch up. I can't do this. I kept telling myself I can't do this for weeks. But at every time, I would try my best to do something. Maybe write a story, maybe go out, a particular story, but I was trying my best. But long run,
That's great.
it got to a point where I said, no, I have to love sport. I have to eat sport. I have to sleep sport and wake up with sport. This is my life right now. I accepted it. I accepted sport and said, no, I will accept this bit. And it began with me buying newspapers. I started buying Complete Sport at that time. I had a pile.
To continue your story, we would like you to also, what you said about getting sport newspaper, and we would like you to please also add other things that we as females that want to go into this male-dominated bit, what are the things we need to do to be able to dominate that space as females or media girls? So one of the things you mentioned, buying sport papers. So give us other things you think we need to do to be able to become grounded as a sport journalist. Please go on, ma'am.
No problem. So I started buying Complete Sport. At the time, I had to read Complete Sport before I get to work. I'll make sure I follow up on stories, know what is happening, where it's happening, who is involved. I started buying Complete Sport, Sporting Live. At the time, I bought that too. For right now, you know that people have moved past papers. So the internet's now. Now what I do is I follow up with sport channels, sport platforms. I have BBC, I have Sky Sports. I had to aim for something not local, not ordinary, because a lot of people have moved past some myopic things right now. People they are far-sighted. They can see what sport journalism is going into now. It's going into something different. You can sit in your home and then have the ring light and then come up with something, analyze something, but you have to watch how it's being done. So I started buying sport papers at that time, read sports papers so that I can help myself understand what was really going on. Now, at the time when I did that, I was getting a glimpse. If my colleague is presenting on air, I could relate to that story. I could say something about that story because I've been buying the papers and I've been reading about that particular, if it is the MWFL or the MPFL, I've been reading about the particular team and I can say something. So I was, when I started engaging in conversations with him, and he said, okay, you can come on the show. You just analyze on the show. That was another pain in the neck, but I had to do it. So when I follow through with those papers, I will speak from my own level of understanding, from how I understand that what I've read or that particular story. Because when you analyze, it's your opinion. It's just you sharing your opinion about something. So it began like that. me sharing my opinion, my understanding about things, my thoughts about things, and my opinions are even my own, you understand? So you're entitled to your own opinion. So it was me seeing things from my own perspective. So I started coming on the show, was gaining the whole confidence to follow up with stories. And one day he told me, okay, you're going to present today again. So I said, fine, presented, but with the understanding of all I've read from the newspaper. So it started with the newspaper for me, and it started with me accepting sport, loving sports, telling myself that this is the new norm. This is the new normal for me. And when I started doing that, everything started going on a smooth sail. Every single thing started going on a smooth sail. I was really happy when Ms. Dolapo did tell me that I will be speaking on the excellent female sportcaster, carving a niche in sport journalism. I had to carve a niche for myself. I told myself, I'm not going to give myself too much burden. I'm not going to push myself too hard to do sports the way others are doing sport. I'll do sport my way. So I don't put myself under too much pressure. I don't put a big burden on my shoulder. Since this, I'm still working on a part, on eggshells, signing this beats. I have to take things at a time, one thing at a time. So I told myself I would do sport the way I can. If you ask me who an excellent female sportcaster is, I would say we cannot find any without flaws, without any challenges, without any backstory when they were crawling or when they were taking milk before they started cracking bones. You won't find any without those stories, without those backstories. There is none, because the truth is excellence is earned. And it's earned with the level of your resilience, your preparations, your acceptance of your flaws, accepting that, oh, I had to accept sport. I had to accept my new normal. I had to accept that I'm a baby at this time. I had to accept that I have to relearn. I have to unlearn all that I know about journalism as a news anchor. I have to now relearn and unlearn. So it starts like that for you to be able to accept your flaws and know that you're thriving. You're making sure that at all times the end game is growth. The end game is not validation for me. It's never validation for me. The end game is never accolades, because those will come naturally. They would come. There are days when I'm on air and I'm having an interview with an athlete, and for me, I'm just enjoying myself. And I get a comment, that was a beautiful, I enjoyed the show. That will come. But the truth is, for me, I was not seeing myself giving excellence. I was seeing myself enjoying myself. So you have to, the end game is supposed to be growth. You grow. That's what makes you grow. So we can work in a path of excellence and not put yourself under too much pressure to be excellent, but say I'm a work in progress and I can walk the path of excellence. I'll reintroduce. I'm sorry?
Ma'am? Go on, ma'am.
Okay, I'll reintroduce myself as Onyinyechi Obaro. I am a sportscaster with News Central TV. And presently, I present In the Game with News Central and also Game On. That's our night show with News Central TV. And it has been a beautiful journey. From NTA to Galaxy to News Central TV, it has been a beautiful journey. I enjoy what I do. I love my job. I do love my job. And if you tell me, if you have life, I'll tell you, I'm going to do sports again. I want to do sports again. There are days where you have to prove your worth, because at every time I go into my job with a lot on my shoulder, pressure on my shoulder. I started this journey with a lot of stereotypical ideas, comments, ideas people have around me. And I told myself today I'm going to share those stereotypical ideas, comments that were made to me. I decided that I was going to do this, that I wasn't going to just say, okay, no, sir, the news anchoring. I was going to share them today, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I penned some down, which I'll be sharing right now. I was confronted with some perceptions and stereotypes. I can barely hear you. Can you take it again?
Apologies. So before you go on with the stereotypes that you encountered during work, so we'd like to please, those that are watching us via YouTube or Zoom, kindly drop your questions so that our guests will be able to answer and do justice to them. So please go on, ma'am, and tell us what are the stereotypes that you faced during your sport career, ma'am.
All right. So my story did not begin with glamour, applause, like I said. The end game is growth for me. So if you're going on a particular journey and you have your focus on something, please just have your focus there. Just like the children of Israelites, when at a time when the snakes were around them, and the Lord told them to just keep their gaze on the snake on that pillar. But most of them did not know that when you look at that snake on that pillar, you will not get bitten by the snakes around you. So they were concerned about all the distractions, but were not focused on the key thing, which can save them. So for me, on this journey, it was not all about glamour. What kind of dress is Onyechi going to wear on air today? What kind of makeup we should have on? What kind of hair we should be putting on? Those came, the secondary things, secondary thoughts that came to me. For me, it's the presentation. At all times when I go on air, I must be communicating. At all times when I go on air, someone must learn something. Someone must learn something new. At all times when I go on air, someone must understand the story I've shared, must be able to relate with the story that I have shared. So I'll be able to break down that story to the barest minimum for a layman to understand sport. Even though you don't know sport before, you would say, this story, I think I should follow up on this story that this lady just shared. I must be able to have that effect in you. So it didn't begin with glamour and applause. I had comments. I had to fight through comments. I had at all times when I wake up in the morning, I'm saying, oh God, I'm going to work again. No, and I have to face this battle. But I'll still go because the end game is growth. So there were some comments that were made to me. A lot of them were made, but there are a few that I had to pen down and told myself that I'll challenge them. I would prove that these comments are not worth it. So I heard things like, what do you know in sport? Do you know? What do you know? A lot of them say, I know it's a male-dominated space. So when men are arguing about, all men watching the game, football, they're arguing about a particular club. They do more of the Premier League. So when they're arguing about it and you just say, no, he deployed a 4-3-3 formation. I say, what do you know for sport? I beg. I had those kind of comments. And these were coming from guys. Especially when you have to comment or contribute to maybe conversations. I heard things like, you're beautiful. Why waste this beauty on sports? And I'm asking, so who are those who do sports? The King Kongs and the what? Baboons? Like this particular comment, I can't relate. I don't even understand that. What if I person going to fine for sports? No, because a lot of people believe that only those who behave like, who are tomboys, are the ones who do sport, who understand sport. They have this myopic mindset. And they say, leave sports, go and do news. People like you should do news. No. Nobody creates my path for me. No, it's my decision. It behoves on me to create that path, to run through the path that has been created, that I have created for myself. So I had comments like that. Then some demeaning comments like, it's a male-dominated industry. Women who do sports are very promiscuous. Those myopic comments that people say that, all right, and this one I heard in church. I heard this particular one in church, that you want to be mixing with a lot of guys. Like you want to be in the space where guys are. Like you're more with the guys because the truth is they believe only guys understand sports. So you can't be in a gathering where there are women and you guys be talking sports. Like, do you see how off it is? So they believe you want to be in a space where only guys can understand what you're saying. I was told this in church. Then there is another, it says, can you really know the game better than a man? This one was after I made an argument at a time in a conversation where arguments about club, country and all that. And I said something. And the next thing said, who are you? What are you saying? Can you really know football more than a guy? But the truth is, every guy who wants to be in a conversation, or a football conversation, they just believe they are coaches. Everybody is a coach, except the coach who is on the pitch of play, who understands the game even more, who has gone through all the rudiments of coaching. But every single fan is a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very typical about football. And they believe they know football, so they know sports. Sport is way, 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 way above football. Sport is
Yes,
athletics.
that's the question I want to ask.
Table tennis.
Yes. But what other sports apart from football can female venture? And is it about venturing into one type of sport? Or as a sport journalist, you should have an idea of sports both in that you cannot even think of, you can't think of it, that people do. Like I've been reading some news about a recent person that went into swimming competition. People are not really talking about the competitions that are going on recently. Everyone is focused on football. So what are the other sports that we females can pick interest in so that at least we can be able to communicate that to the masses? So we can also delve into that.
All right. The thing is, I can't make a choice for you. You have to find your love. If you ask me, making a choice for people is what I do not do because I want you to find your love. Whatever you've picked on your own, whatever interest you have, they said wherever your treasure is, where your heart is. So if you pick an interest, you'll follow through with that particular interest to the letter. A lot of people, yes, they've been able to carve a niche for themselves in sport. They've seen that, oh, football is the most populous. Then they decide, I have a colleague, I don't know if you know her, Biola Solis, who is good with tennis. She is a tennis goddess. She picked an interest. Tennis is what she wants to do. So carve a niche for yourself. You can be the reason why people will be able to listen or want to check out news about a particular sport. If you pick an interest in swimming and with news around swimming, athletes, swimmers, going to the administration, keep following up with updates around swimming, one day you can tell the story. And when you tell the story, people start relating with your story and everybody wants to get your story and update on your story. They started picking interest. And it might be something you might follow through with. But find your love and follow through with your love. I decided that no particular sport would be of interest for me to have 100% of my attention. Because when I decided to do sports, I said I'll be an all-rounder. I'll be a sport journalist for table tennis. I'll be a sport journalist for football. I'll be a sport journalist for basketball. I'll be an all-rounder. So whenever conversations around swimming is, I'll be able to contribute. The conversations around boxing is ongoing, I will be able to contribute because I'm a sport journalist and not a football journalist. So if we have a sport as the general term, then I would be a sport journalist. So, but if you find an interest in a particular sport. You can follow through with it, but be an all-rounder. For me, I would say you should be an all-rounder. I'm giving you my selfish advice at this time. Be an all-rounder because that's what sports.
That's good advice. Yes, we have a question, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. We have a question. Kindly hold on while I check. through. Jay, it says, good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for the lovely and inspiring story. I get these comments too anytime I engage in sports discussions, but my question is that I have a strong passion for engaging in football discussions and analysis, but I am not entirely sure where to begin if I want to build a career in sport journalism and broadcasting. From your wealth of experience in this niche, what advice would you give to someone like me who appears to follow this path?
Can I go ahead with the answer? All right. Thank you for your question. Now, if you ask me, I would say you're already on a path already. Yes, you are.
Yeah, please go.
I beg your pardon. Hello. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please go on, ma'am.
Okay. So if you ask me, I'll say you're already on a path. Yes, you are. Because sports stories, they develop. You have to do follow-ups. You have to follow up on the development on that story. If you already have interest in football stories, you have to follow through with them because a player who starts a journey in the Nigeria Premier Football League will one day travel abroad and will be sold for a particular amount. And you have to follow through with that amount. And you have to follow through with his starts. And you have to follow through when he moves away from the club in Europe and goes to another. Let's take, for example, Osimhen. Osimhen did start, of course, yes, from the Nigerian league and then to the under 17s, and then on the 20s, on the 23, the trajectory. Then he moved to, Sporting Charleroi before moving down to Europe. So he began his journey. We are following up with him right now. We know that he's in Galatasaray. So you're already on a path. Please just keep to that path. But being a sport journalist is not all about knowing football or knowing about players, their statistics, and analyzing. You have to go to school. If you want to be a journalist, you have to go through the rudiments of communication, mass communication, for you to understand what communicating is all about, what it is to be a journalist. You have to go through mass communication or even journalism, school of journalism. So if you can patch both together, I think you should be able to go through with sport journalism like you want to do, and maybe have your own niche in football. Remember, I always say be an all-rounder. Be an all-rounder, because the truth is, the football space is already dominated. Like total dominance. You will not be able to strive there, but you can strive somewhere where there are few. You can be a lord where there are few. Yes, because if you get to a place, the first person who gets to a place is the king of the place. I've always been told that. But when you go into a place where there are people already in there, you have to bend through to the rules. You have to find a footing. You have to find your place. But why don't you get to a place where you're the king? So to be an all-rounder, and please go through with communication courses. If you want to go online with communication courses, School of Journalism, it will help you to understand that when you analyze your opinions, there are some harsh opinions you should not let out, especially if you want to broadcast. We should not let out some harsh opinions because those are our personal opinions, but we have to be on check when we share them. Because we're talking about humans here, not robots. So when you're analyzing football, you'll be able to go through with communication courses and be an all-rounder, as I would say.
That's great, ma'am. All right, ma'am. So Rachel, we have a question on YouTube. Okay. Although the person said it's more like a request, I'm not sure if I am to read that. But one question. So I want to ask personally because I've had an opportunity to host a show, but a sports show. They wanted some, but I told them no, that I'm not interested because I'm not really vast in sports like you said at the start of your story. And especially pronouncing the names.
Oh.
Lewandowski, all those names. Like it scares me to mispronounce names. And especially when I want to read the sports section of the bulletin, I have to rehearse so many times to be able to get those names. So is there an a hack of how you learn how to pronounce those Spanish, Italian, Arabic names that you can share with us, please? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Class,
All right.
you guys
Can I go ahead with the answer?
Please go on, ma'am.
All right. Yes. Sincerely, I had the same challenge with names. I did have the same challenge, but I think it was not really a challenge I could not surmount because I was already a news anchor. So names are always something that is familiar, that we always, that little hurdles we stumble upon when we read the scripts. So it was not, the knack for that was you go online, these names would have been mentioned by a commentator. At all times when you see names that you cannot pronounce, do not even try. I'll try it. It may sound like this. Names are very important that if you mispronounce names on air, it's like a taboo. It's an offense. I cannot bear Onyinyechi Obaru. And you go on air and you say Onyinyechi. It's the same spelling, but a different pronunciation of my name. And that will not all go well, especially if it's a well-known name. A well-known name, and you at the back of your mind, you should have it that I tell myself that somebody's listening to me right now that knows this name and he loves football. But if I murder this name today, this person will switch off the TV and ask me those questions that I did say before now. What does she know in sport? Who put her to be reading sport? But because I don't want to hear those comments again, I'll go online. YouTube has always been my savior. So at all times, I just put in the name, pronounce. You see names like Makinakis. You see some names, some Spanish name, Rubiales. You have to go online. You have to go to YouTube. And when you type pronounce that particular name, it brings you a lot of commentaries on that name. There are even videos now of players pronouncing their own names themselves, so you can be familiar with their names. So I go to YouTube at all times. I make sure I tell myself, you're not mispronouncing any name. Because when you pronounce those names properly, people say, she get the name. She must know something. Do you understand? People want to align with you because, like, even if they're not watching at that time, and they're somewhere in the kitchen and the TV is in the sitting room and they hear the way you pronounce the name, it's like, no, that girl must be an Arsenal fan because the way she pronounced the name of this Arsenal player, I don't know if you get, they want to relate, they can relate, they feel like this person is someone who knows this person she's talking about. That's why she pronounced the name so well. So it's nice for you not to murder any name, for you to always check out. You can even practice with, there's something Ms. Dolapo does, and it's really interesting with the intonations. You can practice with them on your own and see where the highs are, where the lows are. So in your script, you can always put those markers so you can read it. Because the truth is, when you're reading down to the name, you don't want to stumble. You just go with those markers, and those markers can help you, read the names accordingly. But when I have to go on air,
Thank you
not
for
name,
that, ma'am.
I keep repeating what I've heard. My brain just, I don't know, just sticks. And when I get to the name, I pronounce it the way my brain has listened. So that's how I pronounce those names.
All right. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that advice, ma'am. So we have a question on YouTube, and it says it's more like a request.
Okay.
Yes, can I work in or intern at my free time with News Central TV or any TV, any media TV? So that's the question. Also help us add about your mentorship program. Please enlighten us about it also, the mentee program that you are into, ma'am. Please go on.
So the first question says, is the person interested in doing internship?
Can I work or intern at free time with Central TV?
Yeah. Sure, you can. When I walked into NTA,
Yes, ma'am. Let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you, please. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, ma'am. May I know if you can hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, I think the internet. But can you hear me now?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Yes.
All right. Yes, when I walked into NTA, I didn't get any permission from anyone. I just went in there and said, please, I would like to intern here. And I was asked for the duration which I want to intern. And I told them, I'll just see how it goes. That was my response, I tell you. And that response, I said, okay, you can try something. You can try 6 months, got to a year, from 1 year to 2 years. So you can work into NTA, especially that at Teduo Show. I tell you that you can go in there, it's free. That's where I went. I did my internship at Teduo Show Yaba, the NTA there, Channel 10. So you can walk in there. If you need guidance, yes, I have colleagues that I can call and they'd say, please, so intern, she would like to intern or he would like to intern, so they can also help you. It's not a big deal. You can work. We share a good bond with other sport journalists from our sister station, LTV, then at LTV8, at News Central, you can work in because News Central bringing a lot of interns to the office. You can work into News Central, make your intention known, and present it in a very good way. You can have it that day. You can be told, you can be approved for you to come in and then intern or know what you're doing. So it's something that if you want to intern, please, anywhere you'd love to, especially might be paid or not be paid, you must be somewhere close to you so that you can always navigate at all times to the place easily without any stress.
So,
Nearby,
I'm
you can
sure
go.
BVJ show I've gotten that, ma'am. So in
Sorry?
less than a minute, sorry, because of time is not on our side, please tell us more about the mentoring program that you're currently in, ma'am.
Okay. Currently I'm with SIGA Alliance, that's Sport Integrity. It's a platform with a lot of sport administrators from Europe. I just got taken into that. But before now, I was with the Bow for Her mentee, that Speak Up Africa. And that mentorship program was all about helping women who are in sport, who are growing in sport, to understand that they are not alone, that they can be seen, they can be heard, their voice can be heard, and they can succeed in this industry. They have this thing of knocking off this particular mentality that says women do not support women. That's the mentality they want to knock off. And I would say they indeed did that, because we had 10 mentors matched with 10 mentees, and I was matched with a broadcaster herself. So they were able to match us with people who wear the shoe. They understand where it's really hurting. So they'll be able to relate and help you surmount whatever challenge you're facing right now, because they have faced the same challenge. So I was matched with a broadcaster, that's Rose Good Onde. She's a Nigerian, but an American Nigerian. She played one time for the D Tigress, and she understood. She spoke things that were bespoke to me. She was able to relate with every single thing we both shared. She had to find her feet. She had to find her feet for the fact that she was a basketball player and had to move down to broadcasting. So she had to start doing something new, find her feet in broadcasting, which I was also doing as at 2016 when I stumbled into sport broadcasting, like the story I shared before. So
in joining such mentoring program, how can we get into such mentorship programs, Ma? If there is a way that we can join such programs, please enlighten us and we'll call it a wrap.
Okay, as at the time I stumbled into the Balfour Her mentorship program and SIGA mentorship program, I think my desire was to find something for me to work in the path of greatness, is to be able to shadow people who are great at the moment. So you'll be able to see, oh yes, this is how this great person is. So you'll be able to follow that path. I was able to I went to LinkedIn, I remember at that time, and I kept saying mentorship program for sports journalists, and I was seeing a lot. And you know one thing, I was applying for every single thing. I was applying for every single mentorship program I was saying at LinkedIn there. So I think I applied for, if not 20, and let me tell you the truth, only one came back saying, oh, congratulations. For every other, we're sorry at this time, you cannot, I got the no's. Yes, I did get the no's, but only one came back. I did not give up. I kept applying, but only one came back and said, yes, you have to go through an interview. And that was the Balfour Her mentorship program. It was a fantastic one. It was the biggest yes for me. And immediately, all the no's I've been getting, all the disappointment I've been faced with just disappeared. And that's what they say. When the no's start coming, when you're struggling, what you can see is that struggle at the moment. But when breakthrough comes, your struggles, you can't even remember. But you just know that there was a struggle. But you will not be able to feel that same pain because the joy has overshadowed every single thing. So I had to search. You have to make a move by searching too. Go search. I can share a lot. If there's a platform, I can share with Ms. Dolapo. If I have to see, share with Ms. Dolapo mentorship program, especially this particular SIGA mentorship. This is 350 mentors for 350 mentees. So I can share this too so that everyone can apply and be part of it. But before I go, I'd like to say something. There was a story shared program, and I would like to share it here. It says, some doors will be open for you. But ladies, other doors, you have to push yourself. Other doors you have to push. Pushing those doors, please remember that your place is earned. You do not have to do anything. Lick boots. Yes, sir. Yes, ma. Eye service or anything to get a place. Earn your place. It brings respect. Know that your voice is needed. Don't let anybody shut you up. Know that your voice is needed. And also that your presence matters. I am in a team where I'm the only presenter. And I tell myself every day I get out of bed that my presence in that team matters. If they have to make a decision, they'll say, Onyechi, we have to wait for you. So you speak from the female angle. What do you think? Because I would think different as a woman. So your presence matters at all times. And that part, when you earn your respect, when you earn your place and you understand your voice is needed and your presence matters, that's what turns a sportcaster into an excellent female sportcaster. So while you're working on that path, growing, you are growing.
Mm.
Growth is till infinity.
Mhm.
When it stops, you start dying. Growth is continuum. So that's where
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was really, really wonderful. We really appreciate you for the word of wisdom. Your experience is really inspiring. Your story is really inspiring, and we really appreciate you. And we are proud to say that we have someone like you in this male-dominated space. Thank you so much for having the time to also speak with us. So, in the comments room, please show your appreciation to our wonderful speaker today. And now I'll hand over the baton to my wonderful mentor, Mrs. Oludolapo Adewale.
You should have just rounded off. But I just want to say thank you so much to Onyechi for gracing our podium tonight, for making herself available for us and to inspire us tonight. She shared a wonderful story, and I was just grinning from ear to ear because when someone shares their authentic story from how they started, and you're able to pick out things from their journey, you know that that is really something to hold on to. And I'm super happy that you shared your authentic side with us tonight. Thank you also for promising to share some of the links with the girls. I'm pretty sure if they've been thinking that they cannot do sports, today you've given them the push that today they can't do anything once they set their minds on it. So you don't have to be the person that has all the knowledge of cricket, basketball, football before you actually do sport broadcasting. Thank you once again, Onyechi, and wish you all the best as you continue to soar. Last but not least, tell us a bit of your experience at the WAFCON tournament, the last Africa Cup of Nations. Just tell us, we were seeing you on TV, enjoying the moment on Mission X. So as you go, just tell us a bit of your experience.
it was a wonderful experience. See, having to cover live games has always been something I love. I love to be on the field where live games been played. So the Women's African Cup of Nations was one that I don't think I want to forget every single experience at the Women's African Cup of Nations, because we could prove that women indeed could support other women who are doing wonderful things. I remember the Commonwealth Games where women brought in medals and they were not appreciated. They were not even seen. But for Tega Onojaife, that could organize something for them. So I told myself, no way, the supporters club did not come. I was reporting, but I said, you see this job of being a supporters club, I would take on that job. The ladies would soar. Sure, they will. These ladies faced a lot of hostility from Morocco, especially when they played Morocco, but come on. The whole main bowl was filled on the final day. And lasers on those girls, we could see lasers. But we're given a very tiny spot. We're given a spot where those girls could not hear us. We could not even if you carry the biggest speaker in the world, they will not be able to hear us. A segment at that main bowl that we could not be seen or heard because the Moroccans, they filled the whole main bowl of that stadium. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that we still believed in the girls, even when they were 2 goals down. We were still singing, raising our voices, raising the sound. I'm telling you, I lost my voice, so I even turned.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Turned bottled water, the cans, into an instrument for music. And Tracy Chappelle Chief Swell was wonderful on the day. She also lost her voice, but we're ready to lose it again and again and again for the success of those ladies. And at the end of the day, I'm happy that they could still see us. They came all the way from the pitch and they came to acknowledge us that you are the reasons why we are here today. We can lift this title. They brought the title to that small segment where we're given. It was not
Beautiful. Please, let's appreciate Onyechi and other sports ladies. There are thousands, hundreds of sports ladies in sport, journalism, sports administration, and you name it. So we say kudos to you. Kudos to the Super Falcons for doing us proud at the last WAFCON. Ladies, it's another time that we've soaked in knowledge. What do we do with the knowledge? We ensure we let it grow and we pass it on to another person. That's how we become better people. Onyechi has done her part tonight. Let's work on this knowledge and let's be better people. September is another time to be armed with knowledge. Who is going to be the anchor for September? We'll find out on the group. So let's say thank you once again to Onyechi, and I will want you to write a testimonial, send it to the group, and I'll forward it to Onyechi as well. Thank you, everyone. Good night. God bless you.
right.
Thank you, ma'am.